Thank you. Thank you very much, Dmitry. Please join us here on these lovely white chairs. I'll call them chairs. Yeah, thank you very much for your enlightening presentation. So it's clear that, well, normally people do not prepare for events like that, and it just, no matter how prepared you are, you're just not prepared for a war. So I believe that it had a great of impact. It had a lot of impact here. I can't even imagine the impact it had on you. So you said that that #1 priority was people, and I completely agree with you. Nothing works without people. So could you share more how you work with your teams, how you communicate it, how you ensure that those who happen to be under occupation are still in contact with you, or maybe they weren't? So
they are. I actually say this right. I have ADD, attention deficit disorder, and I'm very stressed when things are bad. But stress is good because stress, you know, puts your brain into well, to the fast cycle. When you have to talk to lots of people, right? You know, you open 10 chats and you just go through each one of them within an hour. So let's say every hour you check each of them. So my approach was to do a lot of one-on-ones. So we had a group call for the technical team, which included 6 people. That's myself, 2 sysadmins, 2 developers, and Svitlana was there too as our marketing communication person. Then I realized that, you know, I'm wasting people's time because not everybody needs to know. So we did this. We had a chat where we talk about things that don't require attention. When you have to make a quick decision, we have a call with a subset of people, and I always wanted to have a consensus driven, right? So instead of telling people do this, I said, I want us to achieve that. What steps you think we should take to get us there? And then you have to give people space and time, because if the person's moving from city to city, or if they have no electricity on that day, there was a problem of the winter. You know, Svitlana lives in Ukraine, she knows more about it. But like, you know, they say, tomorrow your house would have it. So you go to the office and work, or maybe you don't. So you can expect this person to not do anything tomorrow. And you have to asynchronously communicate and expect people to be asynchronously work. Everybody is autonomous. You have to trust your team. You have to sit back, relax, drink your tea, and let things happen. You know, you do your best. Let the people do their best. Don't be the top-down manager. Be a field coach, not a commander-in-chief. Okay, so.
So let me continue, because I was, most of our registry was in Kiev at this time. So for the first several days, we didn't think about people at all. We think about data. We needed to move data. So after that, we several people that already, the data already safe, so we just think about ourselves. So me with my colleague decided to go to the safer place, but one by one. At first, yeah, I went to Poland, then called Tatiana, my colleague, said, I'm already in place, and she started her move, because who knows, it's war. During this day, we call all our registrars. We just, of course, we call our team. It was like tradition every morning, ask, how are you? How are you? Every morning, every evening. And we call all registrars, ask, do you need any help? Some of them moving their registry to cloud. They don't have something with authority. They forgot their password, they lost their equipment, they don't have proper authorization procedure, so we helped them. This is that. US people, they have several registrars who was on the occupied territory. It was quite dangerous to call to them. Nevertheless, we just send messages, how are you? is it okay? Can we help? And one more thing that we organized evening calls. So if you are okay, if you have electricity, just we have Zoom where we can share our feeling. It was also very important not to think about work, but share how you feel. How do you know about the situation? Just share your mood. And one thing that sorry, I want to get more details about. In the middle of the winter and the blackouts everywhere, we decided to organize UAD conference, UADOM conference, our yearly meeting. It took 2 days, 3 hours a day. A lot of registry from World International Organization come to this meeting online, of course. Unfortunately, our registrars, our usual customers, not all can join the meeting because of a lack of electricity. But it makes very good, very strong, powerful sign that we are not alone. And it also helped our registrar understand that life is continuous and we should work, we must work. We have support from international organization, from the world, and we started to work this again. So.
Thank you, Svitlana. You are saying things I forgot to mention. We did have this Friday and Wednesday, right? Evening call, and also we have the work calls. So it was like you know, gathering just especially for people who are not in Ukraine, just to say something and talk about, I don't know, cooking, you know, weather, something normal. Just like during COVID, right? People had Zoom just so they can see each other on the screen. It was very much so, but just more difficult. We still have those calls. It's very important to let people in your company just say what they want without being afraid that it's a wrong thing to say. So.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And we fully understand your emotions. And I have a couple of questions here too, and actually that's about people and something that we discussed yesterday with you, Svitlana. Maybe you will, again, once more stress it clearly for everyone in the room. So the question was, how did you manage with colleagues that were not on your side, meaning that not on the side of .ua Ukraine? That's what I asked you yesterday. So were there any colleagues that did not support Ukraine who were supportive of Russia?
I think you mean colleagues in our registry or in our...
Well, registry, yes. Here, the question is about the registry colleagues, yes.
We don't have such people.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to stress once more. Everybody was supportive of .ua, staying online, being available, providing services, providing, basically working.
Well, okay, we had a person in occupied territory of Kherson.
He didn't just mention to go to run away from this, because it was in Kherson, it's very fast occupied, and he didn't mention to don't have any opportunity to leave the city. So there are 2 people, and we asked them, and they also agreed that they need to destroy the equipment and disconnect from our system. It was not because we didn't trust them. They were dangerous, because if a Russian knows that they work for the registry, it can be, kill them and do something. So we temporarily disconnected from the registry and said, don't say anybody that you work for UA. It's just you are ordinary programmer, you don't know anything about anything. Just leave, try to be alive. Yeah. It's your mission.
We had a small office, yeah, so it was the server equipment, the personal laptops, and the VPN access, the login to the email, the login to the Unix machines, right? It was a lot of things. So we have to like disable them, like fire them, you know. And then later, when Kherson was liberated, we reestablished those things. But Kherson had very bad internet. And yeah.
Speaking about the internet, did they try to cut off Ukraine physically from the internet, specifically targeting your server and router infrastructure, like they did with energy sector?
Not us, but we had equipment in Kharkiv. I have funny conversation with ICANN. So we had our own system, and we are hosting ICANN L-root node. Actually, it's 3, but one of them was in Kharkiv. So I email staff and I say, look, we don't care. If it's captured, we don't care. They can just, you know, take our server, it's encrypted. So we kept it running, but we disconnected and wiped the machines we had in Kharkiv, which was never occupied because it was an important part of the cybersecurity, right? You have to anticipate. This is chess, right? If you see the threat, you move away. You don't wait for that night. You have to be captured, right? You have to retract. And we didn't do any offenses on Russian infrastructure. Like, we were not a fighting company, but I'm in a close contact with the Ukrainian cyber army, and if we needed to, we can do something, but I don't think that's a good approach, right? You know, we find a group that tries to break us. Yeah, we can attack the group. Doesn't mean that we'll win, because there are many more groups in Russia that are able to attack us, right? So I believe in cyber defense here, not in the cyber counter-offensive. And then we have our own government taking care of that. Yeah.
As you say about physical destroyance, a lot of servers, a lot of lines were destroyed. And our engineer is here, who connected lines, even ISPs that were not in very good relationship between them, but in this situation that use their lines to just repair the route between cities. And if you see Dmitry in the Keep Ukraine Connected, there are a lot of equipment, a lot of servers were sent to Ukraine because we don't have, especially in the areas near the border. They destroyed everything. They don't destroy especially servers. They destroyed everything, especially data center or some center is telecommunication equipment, for example, where usually located servers and some communication equipment too. So.
Also electrical power, I mean, you know, actually a few things, right? I would recommend, well, okay, your country, right? You know the Prime Minister probably, right? Okay, or the Minister of Communication. Or if you don't know, you ask somebody you know. They should sign a roaming agreement between all of the domestic mobile operators. So if the war starts in Latvia, then people can roam on, I don't know, okay, in Lithuania it's Telia, Bit, and whatever, you know. So that's what we did in Ukraine. All the operators in Ukraine started to offer data roaming between each other. So your SIM card can use whatever operator is available, and that would work. Likewise, like Svitlana mentioned, a lot of Ukrainian ISPs had cooperated to use fiber optical networks, say, together, or do other things together as much as they can to make connectivity the first priority. and the business was second. Oh, likewise, we communicated with the .ukr domain registry, which is a Cyrillic domain not mentioned by us. It's managed, and we did offer them the DNS and ICAS cloud and accepted it. So yeah, we did help them, which was important because they had much smaller team, and unfortunately they had Kharkiv as the main base of the operations, and that was pretty close to them losing that. Again, Kharkiv wasn't captured by Russia, but it was quite possible in that spring of last year. Yeah. So help your competitors.
Yeah, well, I think it's the only way to stay online, stay alive, is to communicate and work together. Actually, I have some question here to you, Dmitry. You mentioned national pride and jobs relative to CCTLDs operating their own infrastructure. So how does utilizing a global secondary DNS provider breach this view if they are not based locally? So does it break your view on that it needs to be locally located within the country?
I see. Well, okay, we have multiply DNS providers, right? So we have about 6. I mentioned them in my slide deck. The DNS is actually the easiest part. The hardest is your business logic, your registry, your security and stuff. You still can learn from others. Okay, no DNS the same. Let's say we use NetNode. NetNode has API. I can add a zone on their website, or I can open a ticket or their stuff, or I can also just write a small curl script, get a token, and basically if I need to add domains there, I just, write a Python program, and we have that. I wrote that. Well, okay, I used the shell and Perl script because that's what I like more. It's very good to see how others work, and if you see their solution, then you can change your own in-house solutions to match the quality they provide. If you don't learn from others, of course, you can't make the good service. But if you only rely on others giving everything for you, then you're forever enslaved. And let's say, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are all American cloud providers. Should we have a European cloud provider, I would rather use that because I don't want us to, send the money abroad. Likewise, if you had a strong, and we did use a Ukrainian provider to give us dedicated servers outside of Ukraine, right? So rather than me going to say, I don't know, German company, I rent the server in Germany, I can go to Ukrainian company, I have them buy me a rent a server in Germany and pay to them, because then the economy goes in the loop. If anybody here went to the economic school, the macroeconomy, the mini economy or whatever, very important to keep the money locally. It develops jobs, it develops expertise, it does add value to your own country economy. And also, we are not EU member, we are not in the single economic zone. That's important point. It's high cost for us to pay to foreign entities than to the local entities. Tax and other things. Yeah. Sorry for the long.
Thank you. Another question from Menti. Please don't forget, you can ask your questions on the Menti. So data, how many cyber attacks have there been, or it's all of the time like DDoS attacks, and how it has been solved with .ua servers where your data are stored?
Cloudflare. Cloudflare Magic Transit. It's a BGP-based solution. So they capture all of your traffic, they filter it, then they send the good traffic to you. The other thing that Cloudflare does is the web firewall, but it's only for the web. The Magic Transit does everything. So any kind of attack on your infrastructure, I should probably write an article about it. Yeah, seriously. But it's costly. We don't pay for it because they give us that for free, but it's cost like close to like 100,000 per year, which is a lot for our small company. If I wouldn't be able to pay that money, there's not so many good vendors in that space. Call it transit traffic mitigation. Oh yeah, about the attacks, we have them all the time. I got weekly reports from Cloudflare. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah.
Okay, I don't have. No, I have still one question from Mentimeter. I'll address it later. The question about the numbers. So, do people still register .ua domain names, and how you try to
yes, it
keep
was
registration flow coming?
For me, it was quite surprising that 2 months after the full-scale war started, people started to register domains. They don't stop at all the domain step, but you see the domain, it's not the first and even a second priority for people who are leaving their houses.
Of course.
But 2 months later, then people, I think that they already, the first shock was over, so they decided to, life is continuous, and started to relocate their businesses, started to new businesses, and do with, just recall the domains and started to register domain names. So in May last year, it's not was growing, but at least stabilized it. So, we make very important decision at the beginning of the war. We decided not to delete expired domain names, just keep domains in the registry until it may be so people return and for these domains. We supported our registrars. We keep them calling and asking what we need to do, how can we help. If you don't have money to pay, just don't worry. We can wait for several months that you can pay. And on this UA-DOM conference that I mentioned, we also raised this question: how to deal with this domain, how to raise awareness of domain names. And this year, in the spring of this year, we organized a campaign with registrars about their domain names, about the for people who maybe forgot about their domain names and don't have right contacts. So we had a huge amount of work that we restored their contacts. They are looking for right information, use phones, use emails, anything from any sources. Just to remind, your domain is still in the registry. Your domain is still ready that you can renew and use it. And I think 15% of this domain were renewed and returned to life. And the second initiative that we created that was about not only domain names, but also about the name of the city, because we have public domain names that for Kiev, for Kharkiv, for every big city, but the spelling of the name was Russian. It's treated as a legacy of Russian on the USSR. For example, for Kiev, there are 2 domain names, one of the old style, and one of this new style is this Kiev. It's another spelling. It's official spelling of name, but it was not very popular. So together with the registrars, we decided to rebrand our domain names and organize a special campaign to bring attention of people that they are right spelling of domain names. 30 registrars take part of this campaign with this special discount, but not only discount, a registrar makes even more discount for their services. They added free or discounted hosting, web hosting, and helped people to to move this data from old domain to new domain. So very huge campaign. So if in the Kyiv metro station there are banner with this sign that there is the difference what language you speak. The name of this campaign was Kyiv.UA at Ukrainian. It was maybe Ukrainian language, Ukrainian strong, Ukrainian willing, Ukrainian resilience. We took this campaign for 2 months. It was finished only on the 1st of October. As for numbers, it was very, very successful. The domain name Kyiv.UA increased 60% for 2 months. But more important is that we cooperated with our registrars, that most of the activities was made not but registry, but registrars. And they still promote these names and promote this right spelling of domain names.
Yeah, I just have to mention that Svitlana was instrumental in running this campaign. So I'm very happy that we did that, and why that existed, right? Because we had something.ua names, like say it was company.kharkiv.ua, it was like brand.kyiv.ua, right? So as the country is 40 million, in the original setup of the domains, we had only city level, plus we had com, net, org, later gov, and so now we have a mil. So that split structure explains why we don't have maybe, let's say, a flat system, which kind of maybe is good or bad. I know Poland has a similar issue. What happened though, that a lot of people before this campaign in the registrar community said, things were like this before, people are used to, but a lot of Ukrainians now distance themselves from anything Russian, culturally, you know, morally, politically, and of course the domain names are that. So domain is the best brand awareness you can buy online. You know, unlike the Instagram handle, it stays with you, and it's our assurance we can offer to our clients that your domains are safe, secure, supported, and yours forever, as long as you paint it. And what Svitlana did mention, I must maybe clarify that a bit. Okay, this is a graph. You may not see it well, but the top line goes up, the down goes down. We did not delete domains for the full year since the start of the invasion in last year. Even people don't renew them. The usual time is a month. Well, you get a month plus a month more as a suspended state. So we suspended them for the year. In May, we decided to extend that suspension for 6 more months, and then we start delete them. So basically, you know, whoever forgot to renew the domain in February, they still have till November this year to do so. So it's a little more than a year and a half. Plus, the new registration went up, right? So we have registrations that may be dead. We have registration that may be forgotten and they'll leave back, but we give people plenty opportunity to recover those names. And of course, they wouldn't have to pay for the time, right? For the year they didn't use it, right? You don't pay because you didn't use it. I don't know if that's a good approach. The Kyiv campaign was just offering 50% discount on our registry, and the 50% discount was matched on the registrar, right? So let's say we charged them €5 and they charged 5 more, so it was 10, now it was 5, right? We charged 2 and they charged 2. Well, it's not in euro, but you get the idea. And yeah, that helped. We grew 50% in 2 months. The Kyiv was existing for what? 10 years, right? So in 10 years, we got like 2,000 names. In 2 months, we got like 1,000 plus. We should have marketed that a year ago, but marketing wasn't the priority last year. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I have 2 questions here remaining on, okay, 1 question and one more like an ad. Well, the question is, why was .ru membership in Center reactivated? Who led that initiative? I will take that. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that today with us we have the chair of Center, Barbara from .si. Well, .ru membership at center hasn't been reactivated. They are still suspended. And I don't know, Barbara, maybe if those who are interested could talk to Barbara during the lunch or any of the coffee breaks. She will explain the process. And I must say that we have always been very good friends with people from .ru. We have been attending each other's events, so it was a painful decision. But it just had to be made in our support for our Ukrainian friends, and just to show that we are against the war in the heart of Europe, or any war for that matter, but especially something that happens next door. And an advertisement.
May I add something? Yep. Just so I understand, the .ru is owned by Rostelecom. And Rostelecom is owned by Vladimir Putin through his subsidiaries. There is no private ownership of infrastructure in Russia. It's all connected to the, what they call vertical vlasti, you know. Yeah, so.
Yeah, thank you. And some more advertisement from Patrick Feldström, who will be talking tomorrow. And he says, tomorrow in the closing session, I will explain in more detail how we at NetNode have been working for a while, which in turn made it possible to help .ua. A process for survival. So stick around, and tomorrow at the closing plenary, Patrick will tell you much more. I would like to thank wholeheartedly Svitlana and Dmitry for coming here. I know it's been a long way to come over here, and we're very happy to have you here. And if you have any questions or want to just show your support, anytime. And thank you very, very much. And okay, I will just stop talking, because otherwise I won't be able to. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Thanks.